Welcome to Gargos Fight Club. As far as our opening hand goes, we've got 3 utility lands, no green sources. We've got Sky Shroud Claim. Whew, man, if we don't run into a green source. I do like Enchanters, though. And I don't think we can keep on this one. Yeah, let's go and mulligan. I do like... It looks pretty decent, but that's just something that's not going to get anything done. We've got Verdant Haven as a way to get a little bit ahead on mana. We do have an aura with Fistwood. Fist of Ironwood. Yeah, I'm still tempted to go on Mulligan. That's not really going to get it against. Yeah, we'll keep on this one. We've got, main thing is we want to try to ramp against Leovold. So we're going to keep on this, and then let's go ahead and put, I'd love to have Druid's Call at this point. We're going to put Druid's Call on the bottom of the library. And what's our best bet? I think Overgrowth's still going to work. Let's put Return to Nature on the bottom. As much as I don't want to, you know, this deck is an Enchantress build, and so we need to get some card draw going. So having Eidolon of Blossoms in our opening hand is something that we want to do. So let's go and lead off with Force. Let's go for Elvish Mystic. Love the alternative art version of Elvish Mystic. Look how good that looks. Love it. And we'll get her down, and then anything else, we're going to go. Pretty sure it's a her. Looks like a her. And then we're going to go and pass her either way. Still a cool looking card. So pass turn over to opponent. Play against Leovold, and also Leovold is banned in Commander, but this is 1 versus 1 Commander. So if you're wondering why we're getting to play against the Slimeball Elf Lawyer, hey, that's not banned in 1 versus 1 Commander, which you think it would be, but hey, it's not. So let's go Tri-Builder. Our opponent is shields down, so this will be basically like us making the land drop for the turn. We'll go and crack Tri-Builder. I know you can leave it up, but you know, just in case our opponent's got Stifle, or let's say that I'm covering the commanders and I forget to to stop an auto yield to activate it, we're just going to go and crack it, get the lane down, and then pass the turn. So we're playing Gargos, Vicious Watcher. Vigilant. Hydra spells you cast cost 4 less to cast. Then, whenever a creature you control becomes the target of a spell, Gargos finds up to 1 target creature you don't control. Play against Leovold. Each opponent can't draw more than 1 card each turn. Then, whenever you are a permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. And if you haven't had the pleasure of playing against Leovold, it is ain't a lot of fun, to be perfectly honest. So with this option, we could go Eidolon of Blossoms. I'm not entirely sure what our opponent would have probably tutored for with Demonic Tutor. It could just simply just be like a utility land to hit their 3rd colored source. So if that's the... Yeah, let's just give it a shot. Let's go Eidolon of Blossoms. If we're going to win this matchup, we're going to try to go for some card draw. The only downside of his Leovold is on the battlefield. It's going to make it really hard for us to start getting in some extra card draw. So we'll end up having to fight Leovold. And then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. So we did cover both commanders. Let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors, MTGOTraders. If you want to build your very own Gargos Fight Club, head on over to MTGOTraders. We've got all the hydras you may need. But if you do... that's one of the first rules about Gargos Fight Club is you can't talk about it. So build the deck, but don't talk about it. Just kidding, you can. Also, shout out to inkgaming.com. You can use coupon code JOLT to get 10% off your order if you're in the market for a custom playmat, or type in JOLT539 into the search bar on Ink Gaming. You can see some of my cool designs. And last but not least, I started a Patreon. So if you'd like to contribute to the Patreon, there's a link down in the description below. You can get your name in the credits, or if you can't do that, hey, no problem. Just tell somebody about the channel. I would greatly appreciate that. Now, we do have the option to go for Explosive Vegetation. Overgrowth and Eidolon of Blossoms is going to give us an extra card draw. I think I kind of like going for the card draw. So let's do that. Because what's going to allow us to do is we can still end up paying for the Rhystic Study, which we definitely want to do. And they don't have anything else for 2. So we're going to pay for that Rhystic Study. We're going to have Overgrowth going on Force, and that's still going to give us a card draw from Eidolon of Blossoms, which is pretty much, you know, you want to try to keep your Leovold opponent away from card draw. That's what we're going to try. Oh, there we go. And hit the land drop for the turn, too. All right, so let's go and push in for 2. That's going to knock them down to 28. And then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. We covered our commanders, covered our sponsors. It's officially free time. We can have some fun. Now, as far as this deck goes, this is a Gargos Voltron Enchantress build. It is a ton of fun. If you want to check out the gameplay video I released on MTGOTraders this past Friday, so I had some pretty interesting gameplay in those videos, and especially it's probably about 30-40 minutes long. If you want to check out the first game, it's like 10-15 minutes. That is a very good showing of what we're trying to do with Gargos. But yeah, long story short, this is not necessarily Hydra's Tribal. We do have a few Hydras in here. Probably have around maybe 5 or 6 Hydras, and the main reason for that is there's still some good Hydras that we can, you know, just getting down Colonian Hydra for 2 green mana, sign me up. That's a pretty good thing. And so, but we're not going super over the top with Hydra. We're mainly just trying to get down some sort of Enchantress piece. That's going to be Eidolon of Blossoms. That's going to be Engrothing Enchantress. And then just casting stuff like Rancor onto Gargos. You know, being able to build up this huge Voltron commander and be a really good pressure on our opponent. And, you know, once our opponent gets down Leovold, simply just putting Rancor onto Gargos, that's going to make it to where it's going to be hard to deal with Gargos, and at the same time, deal with our opponent's board state, which is a really nice feeling. So, opponent ends up going Chromatic Lantern with 5 cards left in the hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We could completely tap out for Gargos, but I think I kind of like just jamming a Explosive Vegetation. I think that might be a pretty good option. Yeah, let's go for that. So let's go Explosive Vegetation. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. And that'll still give us this Rhystic Study to pay for. So yes, definitely going to pay for Rhystic Study. And at this point, we just kind of want to slow roll value out. You know, if they want to burn a counterspell on Explosive Vegetation, so be it. And if they're not really sitting on a counterspell, then we're going to further our board state at the same time. So we're going to have those force enter the battlefield. Let's go and put Tranquil Thicket down into play. And I think might as well just go and go Rancor onto Eidolon of Blossoms. Yeah, because if something ends up happening to Eidolon of Blossoms, we can still end up getting Rancor back to our hand. So yes, going to pay for Rhystic Study. It is a nice thing to have for Gargos, but at this point, we just want to start cashing some card draw while Leovold is not on the battlefield. All right, draw into another 4. So let's go and push in. That's going to be a 4-2 coming across. And that's also the other cool thing about playing a Voltron commander is that there's just sometimes to where if for some reason you can't make your commander work, you get down something like Eidolon of Blossoms, you start dumping all of your auras onto Eidolon of Blossoms. Next thing you know, you've got this huge Godzilla-style Eidolon of Blossoms, which is pretty cool. Now, as far as the Voltron build, the aura packages in here, there's one main package you need to be aware of. We are running a Druid's Call and Predatory Urge. So a Druid's Call, when we enchant the creature, whenever this creature is dealt damage, you get to create that many 1/1 squirrel tokens. Then, let's say that you have Predatory Urge. That's going to allow you to tap down and fight another creature. So, long story short, this is just a good way to kind of get the Gargos Fight Club going in a manner that you can get a lot of squirrel tokens on the battlefield. Plus, it's kind of fun to imagine Gargos on the battlefield on like eating a creature, eating Leovold, and a bunch of squirrel tokens coming out. I don't know, that's a lot of fun. So, but as far as this video goes against Leovold, we're gonna try our best. So, but to be perfectly honest, a mono green Voltron against Leovold Sultai Nexus of Fate. Yeah, it's a little rough sometimes. So our opponent ended up going for a Nexus of Fate. So what we're going to do on this one, I'm just going to let them kind of go through their extra turn, and then we'll talk about anything that they do. Okay, and we have Nez entering the battlefield. Can't be countered. You have no maximum hand size. This reminds me of the lounge. I'm not going to spoil anything, but maybe if you want to watch some good M20 lounge action, you might want to tune in on Friday. So Puddle's going to have Nez enter the battlefield. Oh, yeah, that's going to be a perfect opportunity for us to go for Cavern of Souls, a wonderful draw. So let's go Cavern of Souls. We're going to name Hydra, which is a very good feeling. Have Hydra enter the battlefield. That's going to allow us to go for Gargos. The only downside with us getting Gargos is we don't have the option of being able to go for the fight just yet. But it's going to be a good thing to get it down. So it's going to be 1, 2... And actually, we want Gargos to stick, so we're going to add green mana. Definitely want to do that. That's going to be the worst feelings if we don't get down Gargos mana. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cast Gargos. And we will end up paying for that Rhystic Study. There we go. Yes, definitely going to pay for that. And have Gargos into the battlefield. It's going to be just a plain 8/7 right now. Hopefully we can draw into another aura, and that'll make it a little bit easier for us to kind of start dealing with this Nez on the battlefield. Because one of the cool things that we can do, and actually... They've got 3 cards in the hand. Do we need to extend into a board wipe? That's something we may want to watch out for. We can get Hydra down. And I feel like even if they do have a board wipe, we're probably not resetting. If they're getting Nez down, they're probably not going to do... Yeah, let's go Hydra. We want to start putting some pressure on our opponent. We will end up paying for that Rhystic Study. Let's see. You know, this is one of the cool things, even though we are building Voltron Gargos, Enchantress, the fact that you can get on a Hydra for 2 mana, 4/4, that doubles as counters next turn. Oh, that is some good magic. As far as some of the other Hydras in the deck, we've got Hooded Hydra in here, which is one of my favorite Hydras. And we've got Genesis Hydra, a Voracious Hydra from the new set, Primordial Hydra, which if you're going to be building Gargos, Primordial Hydra is one of the best Hydras you can put in your deck. It is one of my favorite cards in Magic of all time because it's one of the first Mythic Rares that I ever opened whenever that card came out, and I've just been in love with that card ever since then. So if you want to have some fun, definitely toss in Primordial Hydra. But yeah, hopefully run into some auras because I definitely want to show you how fun it is to be able to get a lot of fight stuff going. Like even this turn, you know, with Gargos sitting at an 8/7. Now, if we end up fighting Nez, that does make it a little bit hard for the fight ability to get Gargos to stick around. We'd almost have to draw into 2 auras to kind of get around that 7/7. But to be honest, we've got a pretty good chunk of mana. And so even if we do end up fighting Nez just to kind of stop that 7 from swinging across, so it might end up with a, we can definitely kind of make that work. So let's see what they're tapping out for. All right, opponent's going to go for Deep Analysis, just straight up just going for some card draw. That's going to be Mancer coming back, and I guess, yeah, they'll probably, they're going to grab Demonic Tutor off of Mancer. So more than likely, we'll be seeing a board wipe off of this Demonic Tutor, I would assume, because if they end up grabbing a board wipe, that's going to be 5 cards in the hand. That'll be 4 cards. They could discard 3 to bounce Nez and have that come down. Or even if they just wipe the board and go for Leovold, that's going to be a really hard thing for us to bounce back from. It's not like we're a blue deck and we're drawing a lot of cards, but one of the main things that why we're building Gargos as a Voltron Enchantress deck is because we get a ton of card draw, and that's one of the ways we can just swarm our opponent with value. And so if they go board wipe and Leovold, and that's really going to shut us off that game plan. So the good thing is that we'll get 1 mana available with Yavimaya Ko, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we run into some sort of aura just to kind of get this chain going. One thing that is a really good aura to have is going to be Whip Silk. It is a green mana aura, and then you put it on the creature. I don't know if it really does anything. I think it does something. But the main thing that it does is you put it onto your creature, you get that cast trigger, then it has a return ability of just 1 green mana. So you can basically just keep kind of cycling that through. And Return to Nature. Okay, so not exactly what we're wanting to see. So we could swing it as an 8/8 with Colonian Hydra. We can swing in with Gargos too. We can swing in with Eidolon of Blossoms. Which I'm not super wild about that. That does give us Rancor back, but we can't really do anything with that. So let's go and make the land drop. That's going to be forced for the turn. Yeah, I feel like we need to be aggressive. I kind of feel like that Demonic Tutor was probably going to be a board wipe. So we're not going to swing it with Eidolon. I guess we could, but that's going to just get eaten up by Nez. You know, yeah, I think that's fine. We'll swing in for 4, and if anything, if they end up blocking on Eidolon, we'll get that Rancor back. And if we get in for 4, we'll take that. So that's going to be 8, that's going to be 16, that's going to be exactly 20 coming across. Now, with the Return to Nature, that's not that bad of a draw. You know, if our opponent did Demonic Tutor for some sort of, like Teferi's Puzzle Box or something like that, that's going to lock us out of the game. At least we do have an answer for it now with the Return to Nature. So, all right, so we get swinging in for 4 with the Eidolon of Blossoms. We'll have that 1 damage trample across, puts them down to 19. And then I think anything else, no, we're going to pass the turn over to our opponent. So, yeah, it's not the best thing we could run into, but having a completely universal piece of green interaction between destroying an artifact, enchantment, and exiling a card from a graveyard, there's worse things that we could draw. So, let's see what they get going for the turn. All right, so they will end up going for Damnation. Yeah, you know, like I mentioned, that's fine. That's going to bring Rancor back to the hand. We do miss out on the Eidolon of Blossoms card draw option, so and that does send Gargos back. But we've got Cavern of Souls, and hopefully we can get lucky with a couple more auras and really start swinging in. Ooh, they're going to end up going for Muldrotha, which is going to allow them. They don't really have much of a graveyard right now. They can cast Nez if they want to. But I think at this point, yeah, we might need to actually go and Return to Nature. Well, they can actually go for Mancer. And if they pass the turn just for 1 second, we're definitely going to get rid of that Demonic Tutor option. Yeah, what we probably should have done in response to Muldrotha is gone for Return to Nature on Demonic Tutor. Well, either way, if they end up casting Mancer out of the graveyard and targeting Demonic Tutor, we can still end up going Return to Nature. Either way, yeah, so we're going to be able to kind of get rid of that option out of the graveyard. Okay, they're going to have Leovold into the battlefield. Let's just go ahead and get rid of, yeah, I think we need to do that. We're going to get Exile. Yeah, if we just exile the Mancer, then that's going to get rid of their option of bringing stuff out of the graveyard. So let's do that. That's going to be 1, 2. We'll have enough to play into this Rhystic Study for sure, too. And we'll at least just get rid of that option of them. Yes. Okay, so we exile that card. We're going to see Leovold enter the battlefield. We still got Gargos next turn. We can actually end up fighting on Leovold. The only downside is that they still get that option to cash in a card draw, which is pretty much a bummer. But we might end up getting rid of Muldrotha. We'll see what's the best bet. So let's go and go for Gargos. Okay, so we're going to have Gargos into the battlefield. We have just enough to pay for that Rhystic Study. Yes, we are. We'll have Gargos into the battlefield. And I think at this point, I guess what we do is we just get rid of Muldrotha, because that's going to be Nezbek, and that makes it a problem for us. If we can get rid of Muldrotha with this fight right now, then there's really not much that they can do. They've got one card left in the hand. I like doing that. So we're going to target Gargos. Muldrotha does not have Death Touch. Okay, yeah, so we're going to target Muldrotha. And that still gives them a card draw, but I'm just going to hope that hopefully we can get semi-lucky with that. Let's go and pay for Rhystic Study. Okay, we're going to fight Muldrotha, send her to the graveyard where, she probably likes to be in the graveyard. And then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. So we do have New Horizons, which is really not that bad of a draw. So next turn, let's say we enchant one of our lands, New Horizons. We get to put a +1 counter onto Gargos, which helps us kind of get that fight ability going. Because now we can pretty much fight anything on the battlefield. We could fight it now with Birds of Paradise and Leovold. But the fact that we've got Trample with Rancor and then we get that +1 counter, it's going to make it a lot easier for us to being pretty much a thorn in the side for our opponent. But I'll be perfectly honest, I was not expecting Gargos to make it this far against Leovold. So, not that Gargos isn't a powerful commander, it's just, this is a Voltron build. And when you play against Sultai, which is pretty much going to have answer for anything on the battlefield, I was not expecting us to last this long and be this close of a game. So, you can definitely see where a deck like this is, even though it's fun in nature, fun in its base nature to kind of build a kind of Godzilla-style Gargos deck. We're still hanging with the Leovold deck, which is pretty good, and we've been able to kind of keep up with the Rhystic Study the entire game. I've never let them get a card draw. But, just like anything, once they get Leovold down and get that seal going, it's pretty rough. So, opponent did make the land drop down. They got Secure Tri-Builder down. They've got one more card left in the hand. So, if we do end up drawing into something, we'll definitely try to get that Leovold Commander tax going again. If anything, we might just start swinging in. So we run into Soul Ring. And then let's go New Horizons. So let's go ahead and enchant this forest right here. That's going to be 1, 2, 3 from the Overgrowth. We're going to be able, and actually let's tap down this forest first to make sure we can pay for Rhystic Study. Yes, definitely going to pay for that. Okay, we're going to put a +1 counter on Gargos. That's going to make it an 11-8. Let's go and push in. It does have Vigilance and Trample, so this is going to be pretty much an easy swing for us. Nothing has Death Touch. All right, so we're going to go swing in for an 11-8. They could offer up some blocks, because even if they block with Tri-Builder and Crack in response to that, all they're going to do is eat 1 point of damage. So they do need to do some sort of blocks with Leovold and Birds of Paradise next turn if they don't draw into anything, because that will be lethal commander damage. So we'll probably end up seeing the Leovold block next turn. So, all right, so we're going to be able to get in. That's going to put them down to 11 commander damage, puts them down to 8 total life. And just in case we need the mana for next turn, let's just go ahead and go for a Rhystic Study. Yeah, let's go Soul Ring. We're going to pay for that Rhystic Study. Yes, we are. We'll have Soul Ring into the battlefield, and then we're simply just going to go and pass the turn. So it's going to put our opponent on top deck mode. If they would have had an answer, some sort of spot removal, I feel like they would have used it last turn, so they're going to have to draw into something to stop this from happening. Worst case scenario, we're going to be able to swing in for 11. That's going to be 7. That's going to put them down to 1. And that's also not including case. All right, opponent's going to scoop it up on this one. I will definitely take it. Unfortunately, we didn't get a lot of Voltron pieces going, but you can see where you just get down Gargos and just having this sizable threat out of the command zone. And oh man, that felt good. I was every time we play against Leovold, I'm like, ugh, I don't like it. But we're able to close this one out. So, but yeah, long story short, with this Gargos deck, what we're trying to do is get down Eidolon of Blossoms, cast Rancor. We've got a ton of auras in here. Unfortunately, we didn't run into a lot of them, and we're able to close the game out against Leovold. We weren't going to win it next turn we swing in, but let's see what we're. Oh, there we go. Snake Umbra. We put Snake Umbra on Gargos, and that would have been the game. Also would have given it Totem Armor. So that's the other cool thing, is that even when we're playing against a Sultai deck that has destruction spells, we're running a lot of auras that have Totem Armor. So once we get that Totem Armor going on Gargos, it's a great way to kind of give us that extra protection shield and really just go to town. So But that's pretty much the core of the deck, getting that value train going. Oh, and Oath of the Ancient Wood. I love this one. Whenever Oath or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1 counter on this creature. This is one of those things that I found it for the deck, and I'm like, this is perfect. You get down to Oath of Ancient Wood, and kind of acts as an extra enchantress piece. And so as you cast your ores, you get that +1 counter onto Gargos, and makes your fights easier, makes your combat easier. Yeah, but either way, I love Gargos. Definitely going to be seeing a lot more Gargos into the future. And if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.